Hi guys, Steve again here, and today we're going to drop our first actual explainer video. And this is an educational piece, and we're going to be doing lots of these pieces because I think it's really important that we understand, and our motto is something for everyone. So we understand that actually some of our guys in the community have never invested in property before, may never invested anything before, even though they may not be a token holder. They may have just been curious and therefore they're really interested in property. Some guys will have invested in multi-million pounds worth or euros, dollars worth of property in our portfolios. And I think it's important that we get the basics into our educational piece. Every offering that we put out there, every property offering or asset offering will have a full portfolio prospectus, so we'll understand everything line by line. But I think it's important at this stage to give you a bit of a flavour of what's to come and terminologies that we're going to be using when we're discussing things in the future. So the two main strategy investment types, let's call it. And the two types, one is income and one is capital growth. And there are many terminologies that people use and we will use, but we want to try and keep universal so everybody is on the same page. So let's talk about the income element to start with. So we will call this income, normally yield income or income yield. Some people will call it distribution, some people will call it dividend. There's various different terminologies. We're going to call it yield or income yield, okay? And that's based on a percentage. And then what's that based on? Well, let's say we invest 500,000 in a property and we have a yield of 6%, then that's delivering us 3,000 euros, let's say, if it's euros per year, okay? That's paid out sometimes monthly, quarterly, half yearly or annually. And it depends on the deal, when we get paid out, and normally we would back to back that. What does that mean is that when we receive that income, after we calculate all of that, we will then redistribute that income to you guys, okay, based on whatever the deal is. Now, if the income is too small, in other words, there's a very small investment element and therefore the yield value is very low, we will obviously distribute it when we feel it's the right time to do it based on the cost of doing so. So if you've only invested 1,000 euros, for example, and it's only a few euros per quarter, then it might be that we distribute that annually. But we will let you know as part of the prospectus. The second investment strategy type is capital growth. And this will be normally the difference between what you buy a property or an asset for and what you sell it for. And then we will calculate the term between the purchase date and the sale date. And ultimately that will give us it will give us a growth value. So it might be we buy for 500,000, we sell for 600,000. And then it's taken 2 years to do that, then that will give us 100,000 value, but then we'll be able to work out the percentage of capital growth, okay? Again, that different terminologies, maybe accumulation, maybe uplift, there's various other terminologies. We will be using the word capital growth. And then the third terminology that's used a lot, which some people don't understand, is what they call return on investment. Some people think income is return on investment. Some people classes growth as return on investment, when actually it is the two added together, less the costs, okay? So what's really important here for all of you guys is to understand that our business is going to be, you're buying by tokenization, you're buying as a fractional owner in most instances, and therefore the costs are going to be similar to if you bought one singular unit yourself. So there will be still stamp duty, there will be still buying fees, lawyers' fees, taxation for buying property. And all of those will be outlined in the initial prospectus before you enter into that agreement. In addition to that, there will be costs for managing that property. If it is that it's managed, let's say we've got a rental and it's a standard rental, there's a portfolio of rentals, then we may have a managing agent that takes a fee out for fully managing that property, or it may be we manage it, or it may be a hotelier or a resort operator manages it, and that will be taken out the income, and we will give you that information. Similarly, when we sell a property, we may have capital gains, we may have taxes, we may have lawyers' fees, and all different types of other costs that will come out the sale. So the cost going in, the cost in the middle, the cost going out, less what profit's been made, effectively is classed as return on investment. In other words, what did I put in? And net, what do I get out? And that's really important to understand, because some individuals might think, oh, well, this is really easy. I'll put 100,000 in, I'm going to get a 6% yield, and I'm going to get a 6% growth, and I'm going to get 12%. Great. Now, that's the kind of number we're looking for, and we're looking to try and get that for you net. But what we do need to take into account, guys, is the cost. So that's called return on investment. Everything in our prospectus, when we outline the potential project, will outline all of these fees that we know about. So in other words, the entry fees, management fees, and all the exit fees that we know about. There will be fees sometimes that we don't know about, and that will just come out of the woodwork some way or another. They wouldn't normally be anything extreme, but sometimes they're the unforeseens. And we all have to swallow those equally, okay? So today is all about education, income, growth, return on investment. What are these? And as I've said, in many of our projects, we will have a blend. So you will get income whilst we're in the investment period. And on top of that, we will get capital growth. So you will have both added together. So we are hoping always to deliver you guys a double-digit return on investment. Thank you.